Well, hey, it's time for Ask the Tech Guys. I'm Leo Laporte. Coming up, our car guy, Sam Abuelsamid, will explain how complicated that car computer is.
Oof. And I am Micah Sargent, and we talked to one listener who wants to know, is it time to upgrade to a new Mac, or can I just replace the battery of the one I have?
And then, how to get all the speakers in your house to play the same thing at the same time. Ask the Tech Guys is coming up next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Ask the Tech Guys with Micah Sargent and Leo Laporte. Episode 2033, recorded Sunday, July 14th, 2024. A week back. Well, hey, how are you today? It's time for Ask the Tech Guys. That is Tech Guy number 1, Micah Sargent, on your left.
And that there is Tech Guy number 2, Leo Laporte.
On your right. And today we talk tech, answer your questions. What else are we doing?
We do a song and dance.
We do. We would. The old soft shoe.
We talk about news. And
Sam Abuelsamid will talk about cars in 40 minutes.
We talk about news and make sure you don't snooze.
FTC, Federal Trade Commission.
I've heard of them.
Good news. They are, this is from TechDirt, fires a warning shot, maybe too soon, at 8 companies over right to repair violations. So this is, I'm really glad they're starting to enforce this. In a letter the agency sent to 8 companies, they started with Harley-Davidson 2 years ago, because Harley said the use of third-party repair parts of facilities violated motorcycle warranties. They did the same thing against Weber Grills and Westinghouse.
Oh, Weber.
They say it runs afoul of the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, enforced by the FTC, that says, no, you can have third parties fix your stuff. The agency has sent warning letters now to 8 more companies: Aris, Health, Blue Air, Medify Air, and Orancy. Those are 4 pure air purifiers. Treadmill maker In Movement, but more to our audience's interest. Gaming hardware companies ASRock, Zotac, and Gigabyte. All of whom have been telling consumers using third-party parts and repair shops violates product warranties. They don't. They can't. They shouldn't.
Illegal.
Good news. Right to repair. FTC said, review your box stickers. And warranty. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you laugh while you were drinking. Review your box stickers, dude, and your promo warranty materials. Make sure you don't imply warranty coverage as condition of the use of specific parts or services. I didn't know that was illegal, actually. I should have read my Moss Magnuson Warranty Act more closely in school.
I don't know why I did.
You knew it?
Yeah, presumably at some point we've had somebody on Tech News Weekly who had talked about it, and that's why I knew about it. I will tell you this. The FTC is getting real spicy lately, and I'm really happy with them. Yeah. They just, there's an app called NGL, which stands for Not Gonna Lie. And that app just got a ding because it is marketing to children. Yeah. And it is
it's lying.
It's lying,
and it's marketing material.
It's horribly doing it too. It's lying about what messages it's getting, and then it's charging, and there's a whole thing involved.
It was extortion. So
it absolutely was.
It would make up messages that were mean, and then say, for a price we could stop those. Mm-hmm.
Or you, at the very least, for a price, you could figure out who sent them. Oh. But the problem is when you paid the money, it wouldn't tell you because the messages were made up. They weren't actually sent by another person.
That is as bad as it gets.
And it's super bad. And then the FTC is also doing an investigation right now into the dark patterns of online subscription services and is coming for blood when it comes to that as well. So I'm really pleased with what's going on there. I think we could see some stuff change for the better.
Goldman Sachs, the investment bankers who are known for their
brilliance,
they have announced in an analyst's letter,
written by AI. No, I'm
applauding some guy. They have announced
plotting some guy.
It's funny. They're getting they went public 25 years ago. So this is a picture of them celebrating the 25th anniversary.
Congratulations, Goldman Sachs.
Yep.
Wait, is that
we were all that younger 25 years ago?
Julie Louis-Dreyfus there on the right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's no, it's not. Investment giant Goldman Sachs, who makes the Apple Card, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Published a research and doesn't want to,
yeah,
because it costs them too much money.
They said
we're losing billions on all this consumer credit. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't want to work with the poor people. We want to go back to what we were doing before.
So they have analysts, and analysts are really writing to investors and telling investors what you should invest in. They're concerned about the economic viability of AI, of generative AI. They note, quote, "There's little to show for the huge amount of spending on generative AI infrastructure," and questions whether this large spend will ever pay off in terms of AI benefits and returns. The paper is titled, "Gen AI, Too Much Spend, Too Little Benefit." I could probably have just read the title.
Yeah, I was going to say, that tells you everything you need to know. They think that they're spending too much money on AI for... what is investment except always hoping that the future is going to be brighter?
Stock market is going up, and all it takes to get your big bump in your stock is to say, oh, by the way, we just added AI.
Guess what we did? And of course, the companies who are behind the processing of AI are really
making money,
right
like NVIDIA. They're really making money.
And here's the thing, there's an argument to be made, and they do actually in the report, that even if in the long term there's no true potential for a bunch of money to be made, it does take a while for these bubbles to burst. So while the bubbles, in the meantime, yeah, exactly, you can make some money.
You can score some tulip bulbs,
as they say.
John Slanina is our space guru. Do you know what the fastest object ever made by human beings is?
And this is not the setup for a joke.
And do you know how fast it's going? NASA's Parker Solar Probe, which is taking a close-up look at the sun's outer corona, because you can't get any closer than the corona. Yeah, just equaled the record for the fastest moving man-made human object ever. Are you ready for how fast? It's going 394,736 miles per hour. Wow, that's faster than a teenager on a Sunday night. That's amazing.
I don't know what to compare that to.
Well, I could give you an example. Fast enough to get from Washington, D.C. to Tokyo in less than a minute.
Wow, that's fast. That's impressive.
It is impressive. It's on course to get even faster. Its top speed will be 430,000 miles an hour. That's next year.
Wow. If we could say, in comparison to a jet, it's
faster.
300. Well, yeah, definitely faster. But it's 700 times faster than a jet. That would be something I could.
It's Mach 500.
There we go. That doesn't mean anything about it.
Well, Mach 1 is the speed of sound. It's 500 times faster than the speed of sound.
And a plane is.
So if you shouted at it, it would never get there.
It's weird how that works.
Why I oughta? Never mind. Don't bother.
Don't bother. Now, what is its propulsion mechanism?
The sun. It's slingshotting around, and so
it's just the gravity.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's just whoosh, because the sun has a lot of gravity, as you might imagine. It's also very bright up there, I hear. The probe is eventually going to get nice and close. This is science alert. I love the writing. To the swirling mass of ultra-hot plasma surrounding the sun, and take a wealth of different measurements to help us improve our scientific understanding of it. The sun's the whole thing, right?
Right.
It's the whole kit and caboodle. Without that, there ain't nothing. So very, very exciting. It's within 7.26 million kilometers of the sun's surface. Eventually get as close as 6 million kilometers. How close is that? It's more than the distance from Washington, D.C. to Tokyo, I can tell you that.
Gotta be.
I'll tell you that right now. At one stage, the record for the fastest man-made object was held by a borehole cover on a nuclear test tube that was blasted into space after the bomb was detonated underground.
Wow.
The manhole cover went straight up at an estimated 150,000 miles an hour.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So that was, I think, inadvertent. But
yeah. That's the kind of trivia I love.
They did on purpose.
They said, we'll do it
now That manhole cover is now only the second fastest.
Poor manhole cover.
Human.
No one tell it. It's lived a good life.
Okay. Oh, I guess I probably should mention this. I love AT&T. As you know, we're very happy with the Death Star. They say that they have virtually its entire wireless user base has been hacked. The entire user base has been hacked.
Yeah, that does bear repeating.
Everyone.
Me.
Everyone. Yeah, including text and calling data.
Yeah.
Everyone. They got, AT&T said thieves made off. They had little, hamburglar masks. Yeah. They made off with a half year's worth of calling and text data from virtually the entire wireless user base, the widest ranging breach yet, in a campaign that has ensnared as many as 165 customers of Snowflake, which is a security program that you shouldn't use, apparently.
I mean, and that's the thing. Snowflake has been at the root of several
165, actually. And so it's not good.
And here's something important to understand.
Yes.
As far as we know, because they say, call and text data, what does that mean? As far as we know, it is mostly the times and the numbers to which you are sending and the number that is receiving. It is not the actual messages themselves because, of course, in many cases, those are encrypted.
Well, there you go. AT&T.
Good job, Snowflake.
Will you be hacked someday? You will.
Yeah, just
all right.
By existence.
Now, what do we do on this show? We answer questions. That was just a little brief interlude to get you ready for the main event. Half an hour, Abuelsamid talking about cars. Meanwhile, call us 888-724-2884.
Do.
888-724-ATTG. Ask the tech guys. Or you can use your phone and browser to enter the address call.twit.tv, and that will actually zoom us. Call.twit.tv. And when you do get zoomed in, you will be speaking to no one. You will just be put in a lobby. But eventually we will speak to you, and at that point you'll have to press *6 if you're on the phone.
If you're on the phone, if you call us, *6 to unmute yourself. If you are not on the phone, you'll see a little thing. You'll get moved into the on-air room, and then we'll be able to bring you online.
You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. Calls are coming up. That's Micah Sargent. I'm Leo Laporte. Happy Sunday. Now, John Ashley, I have given you a moment to prepare.
Oh, that was the moment?
You've had your moment?
I had my moment.
I want to take a call.
And I'm going to pick up...
we see a lot of long-time many time callers, which is great. We love you. But we want to get some fresh people in as well. So let's...
Well, first off, I picked up on one regular.
What?
He's a somewhat regular, but we haven't heard from him in a while.
Who's that?
He's got the same name as me, but spelled with a C.
Oh, Micah from Maine. I like Micah from Maine.
Hello, Micah.
He's our airplane guy. Hi, Micah. Join us.
Hi.
In the ATG.
I like you too, Leo. I just thought I'd let you know.
Thank you.
And Micah, how can I not love you? You have a great name.
Yeah, great name, truly.
It's biblical, yes?
Yeah.
It is biblical.
It's spelled with a C in the Bible.
Yeah, exactly. Mine was supposed to be. The nurse misspelled it. My mom liked the misspelling.
K.
And so
I think it's kind of neat, yeah. Well, Mr. Micah from Maine, what's new in aviation news?
Well, I wanted to give you, first of all, there are a couple of things I wanted to say because I do have a question for you, but you were talking about the speed of that satellite and you were looking at comparisons, and I thought I'd let you know that the highest speed of any passenger airliner is the 747-8, and at its highest speed, it's cruising at Mach 0.85.
Almost the speed of sound. Yeah.
Wow.
Now the Concorde was supersonic, but that doesn't fly anymore.
It can go up. It could have gone up to Mach 2, and it did, and was very, very fast. Not particularly comfortable, but you were there so quick you didn't really mind.
Couple of hours, and I'm in Tokyo. Wow. So I didn't realize the 747 could go that fast, though. That's pretty cool. They don't routinely go that fast. They're more like 600 miles, 700 miles an hour, right?
Well, which is pretty close to Mach 8.85 because the speed of sound is about 750 miles per hour.
Well, there you go. It's slow. I didn't realize sound was so slow. Okay.
That's why you see lightning and then, you count and you hear the thunder.
7. Yeah. Do you count to 7? Is that what you do? 7 seconds?
You count the seconds and you divide by 5, I believe, and that gives you the distance.
Oh.
I think it's
Something
5.
like
Maybe it's 7. It's right around there.
Nice.
But and then the
I
other
should do
thing
that with my dad. 1001, 1002, 1003, and you hope you get to 6 or 7.
Yeah, keep it out there.
Yeah, if it's at the same time, you're in trouble. The other thing I wanted to mention the AT&T breach as well, because while yes, it was AT&T that was breached, it affects everyone because they have the numbers that were texted or called. So although I'm T-Mobile, I talk to AT&T people all the time. That breach was taken.
Me too.
And if you're Verizon, it doesn't matter.
So they know my number.
Right. This is a national breach, and I hope that something appropriate is done, although nothing will be.
No, of
There's
course
no law
not.
about it.
Phone numbers, by the way, and not just cellular numbers. Yes, it was the cellular callers who were hacked, but if they called a landline, they got your landline too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Now, what could you do with those numbers,
everybody.
though? I mean, it's not like, people just guess my number randomly. They don't need my number. Are the names attached to the numbers?
I wasn't sure. I think that they might have been in some cases, not necessarily the number that was called, but they can put some scams because if they can follow it, they can put the calls, the numbers that are put together and called or text regularly.
You'll remember this, Micah from Maine, and I think this will come as a revelation to Micah from Petaluma. But in years gone by, the phone company would actually send out a book that attached names to every number in town.
Listen.
You'd get a book on your doorstep.
Listen, one of my favorite things to do to wow the people around me was rip a phone book in half.
What? You can rip a phone book in half?
It takes a special
skinny
technique.
little guy?
My skinny little self could rip a phone book in half, and I was a child at the time, so I know about phone books.
Well, it's your fault then. You kept ripping them in half. Now there's none left. Don't you wish you'd saved a few?
I wish I would have. They were like, "Where's the phone?" Oh, I did that thing
Micah
again. I
ripped
did
it
the
in
trick.
half.
Oh dear.
You remember in movies, I love one of the things that happens. Usually it's a gumshoe. They'll go in the phone booth. We used to have phones all over town in a glass booth. And they'd go into the phone book, and then inside it would be a book printed with all the names and numbers.
Usually had like a metal cover.
He'd lick his thumb and go, find the name and number, and then rip the page out.
Like a menace.
And take it with him.
Where does Superman change now? I mean, really, no wonder we haven't seen him in a long time.
Well, I think, isn't that a visual joke in the Richard Donner Superman where he runs to one of those half little kiosk phone booths and looks around and goes,
That's funny.
I don't know why he would go in a phone booth and change. It had glass walls. You could see what he was doing.
True.
Did he feel a little safer? Superman felt a little safer in a phone booth? I don't understand it myself. But, we don't think about those things.
You never question that,
of course, that's where he goes. He closes the phone booth, takes off his clothes, and he's Superman. So I tried that once. It didn't.
Never mind. So what was your question? Was it about Superman?
I have a Shure Motive mic. I
love
if you
those.
guys are familiar.
Very a big fan of those. In fact, with Annie and Akko, was going to the library and was trying to get one of these crappy USB mics he had working. I said, and you did it too. Thank you, John Ashley. I said, send him a Shure MV7, which is USB as well as standard, Canon plug, and a Shure microphone. Very good. But I have several of the Motives because they make little ones, big ones. They make all kinds.
Well, I have the tiny little one that was designed with a lightning port.
Yes, it plugs into your iPhone. Yeah.
Plugged right into the iPhone. You could use it for recording video. It was great for quick interviews or in a large area.
Yeah.
Wonderful condenser microphone. You could adjust the pickup angle. It really super.
Yeah, and it had a big muff on it, which I loved. It had that big round ball on it. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it's great. And I still use it on occasion. When I'm doing an interview, I'll plug in my ATR 2100 with an adapter and that's perfect when I'm going back and forth. But if I need to get a whole scene, it's a great way to do it.
I agree.
My iPad now has a USB 3 port.
No more lightning.
And my new iPhone's going to have that too. So what I've been looking for and what I purchased were some USB-C to Lightning jacks. Now, I don't want a cable because that doesn't attach. I want a jack so I can still attach it the way that it used to. But all those jacks seem to be for power.
Right.
And not
data.
microphone,
Right.
not data, and not headphones. And I'm wondering if you guys can help me find one. I looked all over. I've shopped, the Amazon, and I've shopped around. I didn't know where to look. I bought a few, sent them back, tried a couple. Didn't work.
I have
know
that.
If you guys had any idea?
That MV emotive mic as well, and I just put it in a drawer because I thought that's it. It's over because it uses lightning. I didn't have your sense to say, well, is there some way to plug in? So you don't want a cable. You want it to do what it did, which is it nested nicely onto the phone. And so it turned your phone into a microphone like this, kind of.
It was wonderful. And I did get a cable, and I got, what do they call it, a bongo cord, so I can attach it, but I can't find what I'm looking for that does what I need.
So the USB-C to Lightning adapter lets you connect your Lightning accessories to a USB-C enabled iPhone or iPad to provide 3 key functions: charging, data, and audio with the single adapter.
They call it an adapter, not a cable. That's important.
So,
but I have to say,
but I'm pretty sure it's a cable.
It's not. It does. It has a little bit of
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the
it's only
tiny
2,900 rupees.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
For the tiny little plug.
I don't know. I have rupees.
That's just a jack, like the old jacks we used to have, where you'd be able to use your 1/4-inch, plug to an 1/8-inch plug.
Why you need
a
that.
jack is what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
okay, not a cable at all. Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to find that, because here's the problem. Lightning is a licensed
expensive
device. And so by that very nature, or I should say,
I've never seen a Lightning to USB jack.
Yeah.
They definitely make them, but they're all for power.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will say not for use for data, or not for use for, what do they call it, headphone, microphone, or audio, but they'll say it real specifically. And I don't see, if they make them for one, I don't see any reason why they couldn't make them for the other.
Here's one. Yeah, Lightning male to USB 3 female. Well, it's not Lightning. It's not USB-C. It's an on-the-go cable, though, which means it does data. Apple certified. Yeah, I see what your issue is here. I think you're just supposed to throw it out. What's wrong with you? Don't you want to
print a little collar for the USB-C to Lightning adapter that kept it rigid, so that way you could keep the microphone where, because I understand not wanting to just have the microphone dangling off of the end. So if you had, because the cable is only it looks like it's maybe an inch of cable, and so
no, I've got it. I've got that cable.
Oh, you have that one.
I have it, and it works, and I can use, it's like a little bungee thing that I can use to kind of tighten it up and make it happen. But it's really, it
not
can
ideal.
Slide around, and it's not as elegant as the motive once was.
Could cut the cable between the two ends.
It's just a question of wiring. They just didn't, in that adapter, they didn't want to put the extra wires for, or maybe, maybe it isn't just wiring. Maybe it does need some
space between the two or something. I don't know.
No, it might need some hardware in there. I'm looking on Amazon, and you're right. All of them say, don't use this for audio. Don't use this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they're cheap. They're 4 for $10 or whatever.
If you can find
I'm
one
willing to
that's
spend $30 for it, but
this supports OTG, which is on the go.
That's what it is. Right.
Yeah. That means
I couldn't
it does
find
data.
Any. Right.
Yeah. This is the wrong end, though. See, it's got Lightning in.
Yep. Well, no, I need Lightning in. I'm looking for Lightning in is what I need. The one that I'm looking at, and you're probably looking at the same one, is USB-C in with a Lightning jack.
No. This has, at least according to the picture, the Lightning is going into the hole, so that's where your microphone would go into, and then that other end is a USB-C.
That's what I need.
Yeah. Serial adapter OTG on the go, which usually means data is transmitted. You just have to take a chance. I think it's $8, so it's not like the end of the world. It's from Renmou, RENMOU. Let's see if we can read more about this. Allows for not compatible with OTG video audio. Son of a.
Yeah, there we go.
One. Okay, I found one from Target. I'll share in the Discord, and then maybe Leo can pull it up. It also mentions OTG, but this time it says it does audio. The only thing I'm not seeing is if it's able to do, charge, sync, data transfer, sound, and voice.
Oh.
Check the Discord.
I can't get into Discord.
Okay, it's XYST. Type in XYST USB-C to Lightning.
Yeah. XYST. Oh, it's from XYST.
I don't know if it's going to be on Amazon.
Those guys are great.
I saw it from Target.
Oh.
So
Target.
yeah, it's a Target link. Do you have Slack open? I'll Slack it to you. Then you can pull it up.
Slack it to me.
I will Slack it to
me.
Right, meow. There you go.
There it is. He's slacked it to me.
XYST.
It looks pretty. It's got a little grommet on it for something.
And a Wallace.
And a Wallace and a grommet. Yeah, the fact that I see the microphone logo on, but it's the wrong ND, right? This is not what you want.
Yeah, that is what he wants.
I want a lightning.
Oh, shoot.
Lightning plug.
Dang it.
You got your ins and outies reversed.
You're right.
Right. USB-C.
It's also out of stock.
Right. Yeah.
Dang it.
But I love it. It does have a microphone on it.
Makes me sad. I thought I had it.
Well, we don't know, but maybe somebody in the lovely chat. This is older because it was designed to make a USB-C device work with an iPhone. What you want is a device designed to work. I just put mine in a drawer. I'll be honest, Mike. I just put mine in a drawer and said, it was good knowing you, and went out and I bought a Zoom.
But, a rich computer guy like you can do that. But,
I know.
Airplane geek like me, my $300 microphone, I just can't throw that away.
Was it that expensive? Don't tell me that.
It was around $200-$300. Yeah,
I didn't realize.
It was expensive.
Oh, yeah. I think I might have found something from Newegg.
They're good.
I got it right this time in terms of the way that
I like their name
goes. It shows USB-C on one side, that plugs into the phone, Lightning on the other.
Yes.
And it says that it does charging and it does data transfer.
And it has an anti-loss loop.
It does say not for audio headphones. This is wild. How can you do data transfer but not do audio?
You might contact Shure and say, "Hey, Shure."
Yeah, what's your
idea? I did contact Shure. They said,
"Do what Leo did."
They said get the Apple cable and use a bongo cord, and they even have it on their website. It's crazy that they don't make this little gadget.
Yeah.
Not that anyway. If you, I don't know if off air, if it's possible, I could give you my Airplane Geeks email, and if you hear of one that you could get it to me, it would be very, very handy.
We'll keep looking,
and if not,
and if I can find it, I think I have. I think you've emailed me in the past, haven't you?
I believe I have, back when Kim was with you.
Micah, if you just
100 years ago.
Email the show email, we'll make sure.
Email the show email, which is atg@twit.tv.
I will do
Micah,
that.
real pleasure. What else is going on? I always say, I got to ask Micah from Maine about this when I read airline stories. No doors have blown off. Well, Boeing is in trouble, aren't they now? They're actually.
Boeing took a plea deal. They got away with it.
Yeah.
And but the lawyers that are going against Boeing for the passengers are very upset with that. They don't feel they were punished enough. But in the long run, I think it's going to help them with their civil suits that are going through.
Yeah.
So that's
because it's an admission of guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, It definitely is. Wow. But in other interesting news, based on, the heat that we've been experiencing, especially out there with you guys, they're having real trouble with helicopter life flights. The helicopters, have a hard time in high, hot altitudes. And it's also very difficult to keep the interiors cool. So we're going to be covering a story about that on this week's Airplane Geeks about helicopters are having a hard time doing life flights.
Well, that's not good.
Another interesting issue on Southwest Airlines, again, due to the heat and the way that they stock their sodas, is that Diet Coke is exploding all over the place. and flight attendants are having a real hard time trying to serve Diet Coke because it's too warm when they open it up. They don't keep it refrigerated like some of the other airlines.
Refrigerate it, please.
Yeah.
Airplane Geeks podcast, airplanegeeks.com. A lot of fun listening to it. Mike, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me on the show. And have a great show.
Before you go, one more link. This is from Scooter X, who is a master of
the stuff we need
of Google, a Google master. I wish I could get my Discord open. He says, look for the Tubran, not Turban, Tubran OTG Lightning USB charging adapter, 2-in-1 exclusive adapter for MacBook. See if it works.
Oh, yeah, because they do show microphones multiple times in the images.
It's on Amazon, Tubran, microphone. It says the word microphone.
Tubram OTG Lightning USB on Amazon.
Yes. See if you can find that, because it does specifically mention the Mikey phone.
Wow. Yeah. $10.88. What a deal.
I can't believe it. Thank you, Scooter X.
I hope
Thank you, Scooter X.
Scooter
that's
X
wonderful.
is always the guy for this stuff. He's a master of the.
And if I order now, 5% coupon.
Woo!
What a deal. Woo! Thank you so much. I knew you guys would save the day.
Well, thanks to the chat room and our great club members. Thank you. Take care, Micah.
Bye-bye.
We do
Bye-bye.
appreciate our club.
We do.
They are so smart. And it's really, I think that's the whole point of what we do and have always been doing on the Tech Guy show, which is, I always called him Team Tech Guy. And I always said this, for 20 years, I said this on the radio show. I can't answer every question, but you got a lot of people listening, a lot of people watching, and many people in chat. Somebody's going to know the answer. So if you call and you ask and we can't get the answer for you, pretty much guarantee Scooter X. Scooter X will. And Out of Sync says, Prime Day is just 2 days away. You might want to.
Yeah, you could get a 15% coupon.
Okay. Yeah. Should I do an email as we lead up to Sam Abuelsamid?
I think an email would be good.
We got a stack of emails here from our fine audience.
Just a small portion of a stack.
And I almost forgot. If you'd like to be in the club and join us in the Discord, twit.tv/clubtwit. $7 a month. That's all.
Join us.
Alternative is from Dan. Alternative to Alexa for home group audio. Hi, Leo and Micah. Love the show. Also a Club Twit member. Thank you, Dan. My fiance's parents are not super tech savvy, but know how to use Alexa and other voice assistants. They're currently using Echo devices around the house on a home. He's putting that quotes. That's the label group mode for playing music throughout the house. So you say, hey, Echo, play music on home. And then all the speakers start off. The devices are all relatively newer and are set to update automatically, but frequently cut in or out or start making static sounds. Lovely. Playing music on a variety of streaming services, but especially SiriusXM. Don't think it's an internet issue. I'm wondering if it's an Amazon device problem. Is there a better alternative for streaming music throughout the house that has voice assistant capability and won't be as expensive as Sonos? I understand. I love Sonos, but I feel like they would not like the app UI and they would want something voice controlled based. I do. Sonos does support Echo as well as Google Voice. So you can talk to some Sonos devices have microphones, but it's awfully expensive. The reason though people buy Sonos is because of this whole home audio.
Yeah.
They were the first to do it. Remember, Google added it to its devices. Sonos sued and the judge ruled that the patent did not protect Sonos, that in fact, Google wasn't doing anything unusual. So, and they hadn't stolen the idea. So I think more and more devices, Bluetooth devices, can do that multi-home audio without, if it doesn't work, what you get is echo. It's like the song is playing here, but then a half second later there, and that's not a good thing. And Sonos really was the first to lick that. I'm not sure what the static is and all that stuff. I've
not heard of this as an issue. I think you might try doing some troubleshooting in terms of having them play from another streaming service and see if it happens. You said that it particularly happens on SiriusXM radio, but do you know that for sure? If you try it on whatever music streaming service they have outside of that, if they try Spotify and it's not causing an issue where you're never hearing that static, then it is SiriusXM specifically on that device that's causing the issue. There are a number of other solutions, but none of them are inexpensive and I think would require too much work to kind of redo everything. They've already got this, they've invested in having these devices in multiple rooms. I think it'd be kind of a shame to replace everything with another whole home audio system like what Google has or what Apple has.
Well, Apple, and that's the other thing. And so you could get Apple HomePods, and I think it would work better. I think that's I don't know if that's cheaper than
that's the
Sonos.
thing. I don't think it's much cheaper than Sonos.
I think the speakers on the big HomePod are actually better than the Sonos speakers. I really like them, and they do the surround very nicely. They adapt to rooms very nicely. I think that they're probably a better choice. But what are they? $499 each?
Yeah, a $399.
$399. That's I mean, and you need two for a stereo pair. Now you're really actually more expensive than Sonos. The advantage, though, of having a homogeneous system is it all works together better. So all Sonos, or
whatever you
Apple,
choose to do, exactly,
it all works better. You know what you might look at is Ultimate Ears, UE. UE booms.
Yeah, those do a good job.
They do the same kind of thing, and you can put them all over the house. They have party mode.
That's what it's called.
And I think that there is. I seriously think there's an. They think now I'm getting the price in pounds sterling.
They don't know where you are.
They don't know where I am. So it's only 129 pounds sterling.
Do you have a VPN running?
I don't know what's going on. So that's the Boom 4, but I think they might make, the problem with these are more designed to be portable. So let me see. Yeah, the Hyper Boom is, in fact, Father Robert brought this over. Yeah, that's portable too, though. And that is now we're at 409 pounds sterling. We're getting into the Sonos territory. But get a few of these little booms are great.
And they sound great for how small they are.
Yeah. And you
I've
can
had
put them
one
around
for
the house.
years now, and I use it as a shower speaker. And it's that one right there.
Yeah.
And I have had it for 7 years at this point, and it stays in the shower almost, except for whenever it's charging. Still works just fine after all these years. So they are really good devices, and it's the speaker that I recommend to my family members. So you can get the
Wonder Boom 4, the Boom 4, the Mega Boom 4, the Ever Boom 4. Why they have a cross on them, I don't know. The Epic Boom, no, that's actually that plus and minus. But to me, it looks a little religious,
look like a cross,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I think this is region United Kingdom. Let's make it India so everything is consistent. No, let's not. Because the rupee conversion.
Yeah, I'm just really having trouble where I have to keep changing my currency conversion system. So if you could keep it in India, that'd be great.
It would be nice. Yeah. I have a few of these, and I really, really, really like them. I think that they're great, and you can get the little ones. The thing is, they're supposed to be portable. But you can keep them plugged in. They just plug into a USB cable. So you can keep them plugged in all around the house. But it is nice because it's easy to reconfigure. The Wonder Boom 4, which you can actually take swimming with you, as you see there, is $100. So you put those all around the house, and you're going to have a party. I think that's...
if that's $100, then...
Get 10 of them.
I was going to say, that's the same cost as a HomePod Mini.
Right.
So you then have the choice if you want to go agnostic. Or,
I think they sound a little better than the HomePod Mini.
Yeah, I will say the HomePod Minis do not... While their sound... I feel that their sound is good, but their volume is not.
Yeah. You know what I use them for?
Loud enough.
Putting Siri in rooms so I can talk to my house because I get lonely. I keep having this fantasy that I'm going to be able to say, "Good morning," and the lights will come on, the curtains will go up, the garage door will open and close. Stuff will happen. Coffee maker,
everyone.
Spitting. I like Sleeping Beauty.
You want to be Mickey Cinderella. Mouse in that Fantasia thing.
Yeah, like the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Moving,
yeah. No, I'm thinking more like you know how was it Snow White? Who was it with the dwarfs? Who was it with
Snow White and the Seven
What
Dwarfs.
is it with the dwarfs?
Snow White.
I feel like I'm turning into Regis Philbin. Dwarves. What is it with the dwarves?
They're sleepy.
They're dopey. They're grumpy.
And what's with Doc? What's his thing?
Is he a doctor? Sleeping Beauty used to sing to the birds.
Oh, yeah.
While she's sweeping up.
Oh, that's Cinderella.
Is that Cinderella?
Cinderella.
You're watching Ask the Befuddled Tech Guy and Micah. And we thank you for being here on the Twit Broadcast Network.
I have a problem sitting still. And so what I use the HomePod Minis for is I will turn on the audio for those so that if we're watching a show, if I go upstairs, I can still hear the show, or if I go into the kitchen.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, so I don't have to necessarily stay rooted.
You don't need to see the picture. You can just hear it.
It depends on the show, obviously.
I think that's a great idea. So you use whole home TV audio.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh. Let us now join. Let us now get with Mr. Sam Abuelsamid. He is a principal researcher at Guidehouse Insights. He is our car guy, the host of the Wheel Bearings podcast, and joins us from beautiful Ypsilanti, Michigan, which today looks like the bridge of the Starship Enterprise.
Wow, that looks cool.
Hello there,
gentlemen.
Sam.
How are you today?
Doing well.
Great. How are you?
Good to see you too.
So, I'm the Celestique. Isn't that a Cadillac brand?
It is a Cadillac, and it's pronounced Celestic.
Celestic.
Not Celestique.
Yes. Nope. Like
when you
lyric,
spell it with an IQ.
Optic
spelled with a C.
Actually, it's spelled with a /Q. So
the Cadillac Optic is spelled with a Q.
It's an optique.
No.
No. IQ is the designation the Cadillac is putting
I get it. It's
model
IQ.
names
It's
for their electric vehicles.
Okay, because it's smart. I get it. Okay.
Yes.
So I have been saying
lyric,
Celestic,
Optic.
Now I understand why people were laughing behind their hands.
What is that behind
you know what, though? A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
So a few days ago, I paid a visit to Warren, Michigan, to GM's Tech Center. And down in the basement of the Sloan Engineering Building, they have a new lab that they started building last September. It is their software quality lab. And given how long, GM and other automakers have been doing software, you would think that, software quality lab would not be a new thing, but it is. GM, like most automakers, as we've been making this transition over the last few years to what they call software-defined vehicles, the complexity of software in vehicles has just exploded compared to where it was 25 years ago when I was doing automotive software for things like traction control and stability control and brake-by-wire. It has just gotten way more complicated. And the legacy automakers like GM and Ford and Volkswagen and Volvo, as they've been trying to do this, they've been struggling with how to test this stuff, how to set up their organizations to be able to develop software. Because up until 10 years ago, when Tesla launched the Model S, software was something that went into a vehicle when it was built, and then it was never changed over the life of that vehicle. The software in a vehicle, it was static. So when a new program would launch, go into production, there would be a deadline, usually a month to 2 months before job one, when everybody doing various software bits for that car, it's pencils down, it's finished. It has to be done by that date. And then there was generally no updates to a vehicle once it was in production. But that has all changed. Tesla starting with the Model S created this idea of, we can push software updates to vehicles over the air, and we can add new functionality to vehicles years after they've been on the road. And so that means the software has to be set up in a totally different way. And the processes for producing that software have to be set up in a totally different way. And that's something that legacy automakers, making that transition in their organizations and their processes, has had to change. And I don't know if you recall back in December, when after GM launched the Chevy Blazer EV in December, they actually had to put a stop sale on that vehicle, and they didn't resume sales of it until about March of this year because there were so many software problems with it.
That's not good.
Yeah. So this new software quality lab is designed to try to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Why is it so hard? I mean, the computers have software. Why is it so hard? Is it that automakers don't have the skill set? No, they can hire good coders.
It's the nature of the kind of software and the way that it's being deployed. So when I was doing automotive software, the software was deeply embedded. It was tied very close to the hardware. So we were using, relatively low power microcontrollers, and the software that we wrote was very specific to that hardware. And so you couldn't just go from, a TI chip or an NXP chip or an Intel chip and switch it around. You'd have to basically completely rewrite the software. A lot of it, when I started, we were writing Intel assembly code. And so the code was designed to never be changed. Now, you've got, and all of the different functions in the car were basically siloed from each other. They didn't interact very much. Now you've got all these features that are software driven, and there's a lot of interaction. And we're now deploying an architecture, where there's an abstraction layer. It's a lot like the way Android and iOS work, in that there's an application layer. So you got applications on the top. Those applications don't ever actually talk directly to the hardware. They talk to APIs. So there's this layer that separates the hardware from the applications. And so you call APIs if you want some data, and you call APIs when you want to send a signal to, if you want to tell the brakes to apply. You call an API to do that, just like you would call an API to send, to take a picture, to tell the imaging sensor to take a picture. Mm-hmm. You don't actually call the imaging sensor, you call an API to do that. And they're doing the same thing in cars now, so that they can be able to make changes in the hardware and the software asynchronously. So we're shifting to a model that's much more like the traditional tech industry, but unlike the tech industry, where safety wasn't really a concern, because if the applications on your phone crash, people don't usually die very often. When an application crashes in your car, people can die. Mm-hmm. So you've got these two different mindsets of safety first and move fast and break things, kind of battling each other. And so it's finding a balance in there and trying to get the best of both of those worlds in there. So what's cool about this new software lab is they have developed these new test benches. They've always had, test benches where, for things like the infotainment system, basically they would in the old days, like 10 years ago, they would just have a rack that had your infotainment display, your center infotainment display, and some switches and buttons. And engineers would sit there and they would test, load software onto it, and they would test stuff. And it was all done in person. And, it was comparatively simple compared to what we have today. Now we have these giant screens, usually multiple screens in the car. There's much more that's being controlled by the software. And so these new test benches have there's versions of this for every vehicle configuration they have. The one behind me here on the screen is for the new Cadillac Celestiq, but there's versions for the Chevy Silverado and the GMC Sierra and every other vehicle GM makes. They've got 300 of these now, and they're adding more all the time. And in addition to having all the screens, all the switches, there's also the radios and all of the ECUs, not just the infotainment unit, but all the ECUs in the vehicle, all the electronic control units. And the engineers can be sitting there at the bench testing stuff, loading software on and testing it. But these are all networked together as well. So they can run it remotely. So if they're working remotely, or for example, if an engineer in Israel, a developer in Israel, or a developer in China or India wants to run tests on a bench in Warren, Michigan, they can do that. They can log in and run their tests. And then when they're not being used by an individual, they can also run automated testing. And they're using Gen AI to run, to create all the different scenarios, all the different possible combinations and permutations of the way the controls could be manipulated in the vehicle, the signals that could be coming in to test all this stuff. So they're doing a lot more testing. And they're tracking, they're monitoring the utilization. As they get up to about 70% utilization on all the test benches, then they start adding more. And So they right now, they said they've got about 300 of these in Warren. They've also they've sent some to Google because GM uses the Android Automotive OS for their infotainment. So Google's got some that they use for testing their stuff. They're also going to be sending some to Israel and India and to China, where they're testing different operating systems. So hopefully this will lead to some improvement. One of the other interesting things is in this lab, they actually have femtocells for AT&T and Verizon. And each one of these test benches has the antennas that they have on the car, the cellular antennas that they have on the car, so that they can test over-the-air updates. So they can push over-the-air updates to the test benches and make sure that those are going to work properly.
Very cool. I'm glad that they're paying attention to software. You said you wrote an assembly language, Intel assembly language. What are they doing it now in C++?
They use a variety of different languages. Some of it is in C and C++. They use I think Rust for some things.
Oh, good. Rust is a nice language. Yeah.
Yeah. They depending on what the applications are, they're written in a variety of different languages. Obviously, the Android applications that are running on the infotainment system,
Java,
those are being written in Java or Kotlin.
Yeah, right.
So there's a wide range of things that they use.
So
and all of it has to work together. All of it has to interoperate.
It's interesting. I think more and more car companies, for a long time, QNX, which is owned by BlackBerry now, was the real-time operating system choice of car
and they
companies.
still use QNX in these too for some parts
QNX
of the system.
and Android Auto.
Yeah, there's multiple operating systems that are running some. This is part of why it's so complicated.
No kidding.
Because so with the latest generation of GM's software platform, I talked about that abstraction layer where you're abstracting the hardware away from the software. The lowest level of that stack is actually running Red Hat Linux.
Good.
And then you're running you're running this abstraction layer, and then you're running things like QNX and Android Automotive, and in some cases, I don't think GM's using automotive grade Linux, but some manufacturers use automotive grade Linux. Some it's just other flavors of Linux. So there's a variety of different things that are running in containers on top of this. That's part of this middleware layer. And so that's part of what adds to all this complexity.
And then is one of the reasons they have multiple operating systems to separate the telematics from the entertainment system? Because for security, you don't want one operating system that can do everything.
Well, there's also that some portions of the controls, like for example, the instrument cluster. That stuff has to be real-time control.
Right.
So you can't use like Android to run your diagnostic alert lamps and your speedometer and things like that. That has to be a real-time control system. So that's where they're using QNX to run pieces like that. And then using Android for the infotainment and using other things for the driver assist systems. So
it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's finding the right tools for the job.
Would I think Tesla is much simpler, isn't it?
No. They're they also run multiple different systems in their stack as well.
Okay.
Everybody does.
That was the thing that, at least I thought, distinguished Tesla, is that they had a more of a Silicon Valley approach to cars.
It's still a multi-layer stack.
Yeah.
The thing that Tesla did that was really unique first was starting to consolidate down the number of ECUs. So starting when we started putting electronics and software into cars in the 1970s. So software in cars, not a new phenomenon. We've been doing this for almost 50 years. Yeah, since the 1970s.
What was it in the 70s that it was operating?
It started off with
fuel injection.
Well, even before fuel injection, just some of the basic engine management system, and then transmissions, and ABS came along in 1978.
ABS, sure.
And the thing is, over time, there was this very piecemeal approach to adding electronics and software to vehicles. The way the supply chain worked. Automakers, if they wanted to add a new feature to a car, they would go to a supplier and they would buy, I'll use ABS as an example because that's something I worked on, but it applies to all kinds of things like climate control systems, dual multi-zone climate control, and those fancy sequential tail lamps or turn signals that you have on modern cars.
Yeah.
All of these things, you buy a feature, and that feature would include a set of sensors, a set of actuators, and an electronic control unit with some embedded software. And so you'd have to distribute all these ECUs around the vehicle for all these different functions.
Oh, wow.
And they were on a network, on a CAN network, a controller area network, but it was a fairly slow network. They could share some data, but they didn't really interact very much. And so modern cars, you might have as many as 100 to 125 ECUs around the vehicle.
Wow.
For each discrete electronics and software, but they have to communicate with each other.
It's a Frankenstein.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And what Tesla did was they started to consolidate these and bring put applications together in single ECUs. And that's what GM and other companies are doing now. And the next generation of what we call EE architectures, electrical and electronic architectures, are getting down, to under 10 ECUs.
Oh, that's much better.
And so look
at the wiring harness on some of these cars. They got complicated systems.
So does that mean though that before, if your ABS wasn't working and it turned out that it was just the brake light switch that the car no longer had access to, you could just replace the brake light switch. But now if you have fewer ECUs, when something goes wrong, is it harder to fix? Is it more how does it impact?
It can be harder to fix because you have to figure out, okay, is it a software problem? Is it a hardware problem? Where is the hardware? And this is one of the reasons why automotive software is so complex, because a lot of it is diagnostic code. Especially for anything safety critical, there has to be diagnostics for all of the things that could potentially go wrong. And so, when I was doing this stuff, we spent a lot of time just developing the diagnostics algorithms to determine, has the brake switch failed? Is a wheel speed sensor bad? Is an accelerometer bad? All of these things that could potentially go wrong. And, because of the complexity, it's not easy for a service technician to just, replace a part. They have to figure out, what do we have to replace? And so you need that combination of the software and the hardware working together to be able to service these things. So it's and it's funny. About 3 weeks ago, I visited the Rivian Tech Center here in Michigan, and Rivian just recently rolled out an update to the R1T and R1S, their first two vehicles, and they transitioned to a new EE architecture. Previously, they had 17 main electronic control units. They now have 5.
Wow.
And as part of this revamped architecture, they eliminated 1.6 miles of wiring.
Are you kidding? That's amazing.
A typical modern car that has a traditional EE architecture might have 3 to 3.5 miles of wiring in the car.
My goodness.
That weighs several hundred pounds. And Rivian eliminated 46 pounds of copper wiring, 1.6 miles of wire in this new system.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I love having you on the show. I always learn something so interesting every time you're here. I appreciate it.
Mr. Sam Abuelsamid, principal researcher at Guidehouse Insights. And of course, if you love cars, you'll love Robbie, Nicole, and Sam talking about cars on Wheel Bearings, their podcast.
And there's a fresh episode up now. We recorded it this morning. I just published it about an hour ago.
Nice. Wheelbearings.media. Thank you, Sam. Have a great day.
Thank you. And hopefully I'll see you in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be out in your neck of the woods for vacation in Sonoma.
Vacation? You're not driving somebody's vehicle?
No, just going to. Well, I'm driving somebody's vehicle that we're going to use while we're out there. But I'll be out there the last week of July for just relaxing.
You should come visit us because we think that maybe the last week of the studio. In fact,
I will try to stop by.
Do you think you could be here on, what is the last Sunday in July? Because I think that's the Sunday that Alex Lindsay wants to do a 3D version of Twit suitable for use on Vision Pros. And we want to have all live in studio guests.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it an actual vacation.
Oh,
while
Yeah, well, excuse.
I don't want to
tell your wife you'll be in 3D, my friend. This is an opportunity.
She sees me in 3D. Every day.
That's right. Okay. Well, no, I think I will try to stop by. Yeah, say hi anyway. We'll take you to dinner. All right. Thanks, Sam.
Bye, Sam.
Take care. Wow. That is going to be fun when Alex does this. And I think that we're planning 28th.
Who's he working with? Black Magic?
29th? No, he's working with, they have a funny name. Stream Voodoo, I think is the name of it. Let me just see. And they have special cameras, and I think they probably use the Canon dual lens camera. And they're able to apparently stream it in such a fashion that everybody, all 5 of you that have Vision Pros will be able to watch, and you'll be able to see the back of my head at the same time as you see the front.
It's Chuck, Brenda, Larry, who was it?
We love you guys.
Wally and Karen. Good job on your Vision Pro.
We'll give you a little more of a heads up as we get closer. Actually, it's pretty close, isn't it? It's only a few weeks off.
Yeah.
We wanted to do it. It's 2 weeks away. I believe it or not, I noticed that all the Christmas ornaments were out in the lobby, and I think that's because we're actually cleaning the place out. Believe it or not, we expect to leave the studio in 2 weeks, and I had Anthony Nielsen and Russell Tammany out at the house, looking at the attic, and going, "How are we going to do this?" So that'll be interesting. Yeah, one last hoorah before we turn off the lights. There's
so much happening in the next 2 weeks.
It's going to be very sad for me. I mean, I have to say it's already pretty sad for me. I feel like it's the end of an era, but very few podcasts, except the richest, the Howard Sterns and the Joe Rogans of the world, have a dedicated studio. Almost everybody. Even when you watch a news channel nowadays, they're all in their house.
Yeah, and even some of the biggest podcasts that are there, Armchair Expert, that's specifically in a house.
Yeah. So in an armchair, I guess.
In an armchair.
I have an armchair.
You have a very comfortable armchair.
Yeah, I made Micah sit in it the other day.
If you have a break-in the next couple of weeks and that chair is gone, it wasn't
Isn't
me.
that comfy?
Yeah, it's a very comfy chair.
Our phone number, 888-724-2884, 888-724-2884. You can Zoom us, call.twit.tv. Just go into the browser and enter that in. And we also have a stack of email we can get through. But John Ashley?
We have a phone caller that
He's
needs...
peeking through the monitors at me.
I see you.
*6 to unmute yourself, and then give us your name and where you are calling from. From whence you hence.
The problem is I understand you don't know it's you. So everybody on the phone right now say hi. Oh, well, I tried.
You did. It was good. It was good.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
I thought that was going to work.
Yeah. Well, there would be a problem because if they all said hi, then and we said it's you, then
they're all talking.
Then they're all talking into each other.
We'll give them a second because sometimes, you put your phone down if you're waiting. But phone caller, it is you, the phone caller. *6 to unmute.
Phone caller.
While we're waiting, maybe we just do another email.
Oh, well, that's doable. I just happen to have them right here.
How handy.
This comes from Genet.
Oh,
Genet, 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 like Jean Genet. Hello there.
Hello.
What exactly does it mean when you sign in with Apple on sites? I hope we are not giving away our Apple ID and password. I use this to sign in with Day One. I love Day One. It's a journaling program. And a few others. Is it safe? Thank you. I have just become a club member this month. Merci Benet, Jean Genet. What is happening when you use an Apple ID to sign in?
So when you use an Apple ID to sign in, you have, first and foremost, you have two options. Apple specifically sets this up. So you can do the option where you sign in with your Apple ID using your Apple ID. By the way, these are very soon going to be renamed Apple accounts. So get prepared for that. They're no longer going to be called Apple IDs. Okay. So when you sign in with your Apple account, you are given the option to either use that email that is your Apple account. So let's say Micah@mac.com, or you can have it forward to your Apple account email. And I recommend doing that first and foremost, because what's going to happen is when you create the account, the system gets that email address if you've chosen to use your Apple account email, then it'd be Micah@mac.com. But if you do that second option, the one that I recommend, it creates a bespoke email right there. That's something like @private.icloud.com.
Just like that.
It's a random string of characters and numbers that will keep your email private. And then when that system, whatever you're signing up for, that service, whatever it happens to be, emails you, it will email that account, and then that account will send that email along to you. So the most that you are giving away, even if you choose to use your Apple account email to sign in, you don't use the private option, the most you are giving away is your Apple account email. You are not giving away anything else. If you're prompted to sign into your Apple ID, that forwards to Apple's website and you're logging into Apple to confirm that you're you, then the system will send a little token to the account that you're signing up for saying, yeah, they're actually them, but it's not forwarding your Apple ID password to that service at all. So the most that is ever exchanged is your username itself. And in fact, it doesn't even give over your name and other information. That's all stuff that you type in afterward. So you don't need to worry in that sense that when you use sign in with Apple, that you're giving over your password or anything like that. It's all locked separately and it's just a token exchange.
And just for your own edification, that's how all of the sign-ins work. Facebook, Google, Apple. It's using a technology called OAuth that is secure, that is reliable, and it does not exchange actual credentials with the site. It's just saying, hey, this is the person we know. We're vouching for this guy who claims he's Micah Sargent, and it's him. And the site goes, okay, fine. And then saves a cookie or saves a token so that it doesn't have to do that all over again. It's actually a great solution. I like it a lot. And Apple was late to the game, but I think they're even more privacy forward than Google.
Because they offer that option
Facebook.
To have it forwarded to the email instead of
you could say,
giving them your email.
Don't even give them my email. And I think I use that whenever I can. I think it's a good solution. So good question.
Very good question.
Understand your concern. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. Micah Sargent, Leo Laporte. Your questions too. Did we get the caller?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, I got scared away. Sometimes.
But you know what we haven't done in a bit?
Yes.
Another
email or voicemail. Oh, let's try it.
I'm Steve from Phoenix, Arizona.
Hi, Steve.
My question has to do with AirPods on my studio. They don't work when I go in the next room. And the farther away I get, the worse it gets. And I'm wondering if I can get an extender for Bluetooth. Is there a product out there? Thanks for your help. Bye-bye.
This was a question that we also received via email.
An answer.
Yeah. So if you do call in, it may be a while before we get to you, but we ask maybe let's not duplicate.
Well, I think that's,
it happens. But
it happens.
The point is, what we suggested before, we had some kind of Bluetooth devices. The problem is they're not really extenders. And so I think what we recommended at the time was playing out the audio on your phone.
And then carrying your phone
around with you.
Bluetooth doesn't, in theory, every time I say this, the people in Discord get mad at me. Bluetooth is designed to go 10 meters, 30 feet. And that's intentional because they don't want people to be picking up your Bluetooth across the city. So it's a limited range thing. Now, more modern Bluetooth transmitters can go even farther, 150 feet. Scooter X said, they go 150. Yeah, but they're designed to go 30 feet, and that's pretty much it, unless you have some sort of special Bluetooth transmitter, which your phone or whatever device you're using isn't.
But I like the limitation because it means that other people aren't polluting my Bluetooth area.
Yes, in some ways, maybe Bluetooth goes farther than it ought to.
Yeah.
So, you can get a repeater. There's amplifiers and stuff, but I just put it on your phone and take your phone. That's what I do when I'm on a phone call. I don't try to, although it's invariable that I'll be on the phone with somebody and I'll walk out of the room forgetting that I'm, it doesn't go forever.
We got our caller back.
And I thought, all right, caller, I think unmuted themselves. Hello, caller.
Hi, Micah. Hi, Leo.
Hey, what's your first name and where are you calling from?
My name is Pacelli. You can call me Patch. I'm calling from Monterrey, Mexico.
Hi, Patch.
Hi. It's so nice to meet you guys. It's an honor, Leo. You actually helped me back when I was in high school around 2001 in my compact computer. So it's been a long...
Have you moved to Monterey or are you there on vacation?
No, I actually live here.
Nice. How do you like it?
Yeah. I love it. It's the best. You should come visit. I always love when you mention Mexico City and your travels down here to Mexico.
Yeah.
You should bring Micah along. And
I'm a big fan. And Monterey, I think, do they have good fishing? Is it on the water? I can't remember now.
No, it's actually right under Texas. So it's like the Colorado of Mexico, so to say.
The Colorado of Mexico.
You've sold me because I love Colorado.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's an amazing place filled with mountains and livestock. So it has
wonderful.
the best food.
And the best food. That's the key, isn't it? Yeah. Nice. Well, what can we do for you, Patch?
If it's about that compact computer, I don't know.
I can't help you with a compact. That's too 23 years later.
Yeah, exactly. No, fortunately, it's a Mac problem. And I've been having this issue from a little while. I have a MacBook Pro from mid-2015. It's a MacBook Retina. And it has like the recent Mac OS Monterey, actually. And it's the 12.7.5. And I've been having this issue that I've been seeing the forums lately where it has a battery issue, this MacBook Pro. And whenever it starts degrading, the battery, like most electronics, doesn't last that long. So I have to have it plugged for a long time, mostly. And in those small cases where the battery dies and I connect it again and I restart the computer, the date and time is reset.
Yeah.
And when I try to make the changes, it set it like automatically. It just appears like a certain time. I think it's like December 2001, and all my applications can start. So I have to make the change manually every time the computer turns off.
How old is this computer?
It's around, it's 2006. I bought it 2016, I guess. So it's around 9, maybe ish years.
I guess maybe the batteries.
Yeah, I think that what's happening is the battery is so low that it's I can't remember what Apple calls it because they don't just call it CMOS. There's this whole little system that it has on it that has the
parameter RAM.
Yeah, thank you. PRAM, thank you. That is resetting when that happens. But here's what I want to ask you: are you even the slightest bit handy?
Yeah.
I did a...
Can you replace it?
Yeah, a battery replacement. I did a battery replacement for a friend who had the same MacBook Retina, the same MacBook Pro Retina that you have. It's been a couple of years ago now, but I was able to do it in maybe 4 or 5 hours of work, and it was night and day for the person. It worked like it was brand new. iFixit has a fantastic...
I'm just looking that up right now.
Yeah, iFixit has, and that's the kit that I use. So if you get the whole kit...
They give you tools.
It gives you the tools that you need. It gives you... Because you will need some... what's it called? The fingernail polish remover is acetone.
Is this the one, Retina MacBook 2016 battery replacement? Roughly.
Yes.
You
They'll
have one for each year.
Model. It does require removing a lot of the components of the device. However, the tools are there. The instructions are there. Everything is right there.
Now, wait a minute. This isn't the laptop battery. This is a CMOS battery.
No. There's not a separate battery.
There isn't a separate battery.
Yeah.
So it's the actual...
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Because on PCs in the old days, they would either have the little coin batteries, or they would have a rechargeable battery, but it was replaceable.
Right.
And that's just for backing up the parameter RAM or the CMOS RAM. So this is Apple doesn't have any separate battery for it. I didn't know.
Not
that.
Like the modern machines. So, but the process. When you look at it, it's going to seem very involved because of how they used to make these MacBook Pro Retinas. But if you're careful, even the slightest bit, then you are able to do the complete reset of this. And I think that's going to solve the problem for you. And even, I mean, just having a new battery and not having to always keep it plugged in is great. And it's only going to get less and less expensive because of, how old the machine is. So
we should mention that Apple will also do this for a price.
Yes.
It's not that expensive.
No, it's not. It's not overly expensive. It will be more expensive than doing it yourself, but again, that's up to you. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I was able to do the iFixit repair, and it was like a whole new machine that he was able to have for, 5, 6, 7 more years because of it.
In the past, I have assumed that Micah, being the cultured, frail slip of a lad that he is, had no, manual skills. I have since learned that you are, in fact, very adept at this stuff, and you're a fix-it guy.
I am a fix-it guy.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he didn't see me doing plumbing or carpentry. And
you do it all. So if you have a house that needs remodeling or you want a battery replacement in your laptop,
call me up.
This is the guy. Personally, I'd bring it to Apple.
Yes, it's much easier that way. But
iFixit is a great resource for this. iFixit.com. They are a site that has been very active in promoting right to repair. Mm-hmm. They consider themselves the kind of the manual for the technical world. But you search for the exact model, and they will have a step-by-step guide. They will sell you the battery. They even include the tools in the kit that you'll need to do this. And it isn't just for laptops, it's for cars and everything.
I've been watching, I was on the website, and just like the battery alone just costs like $80.
Yeah.
And with the fix-it kit costs about around $90.
Yeah.
And
I would ask Apple how much, just so you get a
run that by
comparison.
Apple first just to see how much it would cost from that way. And
they have in the past offered very good deals on battery replacements because they understand that that's a part that's always going to go bad.
Yeah, I just have fun doing it. And so I had so much fun getting to take it apart and see what's inside, but also to clean it. This machine had, a bunch of dust and stuff. I had a great time. So if that's your kind of thing, then I'm letting you know that it is completely possible to do it that way.
And it feels good at the end.
It does. It feels so good.
You cleaned it. It's brand new.
Yeah, you put it all back together. It makes that chime when it turns on, and you're like, heck yeah, I just did that.
It's more gratifying to fix your own machine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And John Deere, do you hear that? Sorry.
John Deere doesn't
actually, Leo, you've been really public about the recent MacBook Pro that you bought. Do you recommend obviously buying a new battery right now for this MacBook? It's the cheaper way, but would you recommend updating to the laptop computer that you recently bought? You've been publicly
he loves his MacBook Air. I love my MacBook Air.
Yeah, even if you don't go all the way to the Pro, again, the new MacBook Airs with Apple Silicon are just so much faster, so much better, so much quieter. My significant other has a MacBook Pro that is Intel, and I can hear that thing upstairs most of the time.
It's loud, and it's not even close to as fast. So you can repair this Intel MacBook, but you really are in the end of life for it, regardless of the battery situation, just because Apple has moved on from Intel. So
I just get too attached to
I understand.
I understand.
Yeah. And, I remember for a long time, we kept all our 2015 MacBook Pros because that was the last one with a good keyboard. They went to the Butterfly the next year, and nobody wanted it. So the 2015 MacBook Pro was considered, the MacBook Pro. But all that has changed with the advent of Apple Silicon. It is really good. Now, here's something you should probably be aware of. Apple, I bought an M3. As it turns out, the M3 chip, Apple came out first with the M1 and then the M2, and they're now on the M3, I believe, and I think most experts believe, is really just a transitional chip. It is, you note that the new iPad Pros have the M4 in them. Now, Mark Gurman of Bloomberg, who seems pretty well connected on all this, says do not expect an M4 MacBook until next year, maybe even a year from now, that long. But that will probably, if you can hold off another year, and if you're happy with what you got, you put a new battery and you can hold off another year. Because, I mean, this is not a small purchase. It's expensive. But if you can hold off the year, I think the M4s, of course, there's always the M5 and the M6.
Exactly.
It never really stops.
There's always going to be something.
I'm very happy with the M3 that I bought, the MacBook Pro. Micah and I both use our M2-based MacBook Airs, and they're excellent. I think you can't go wrong. I think going Apple Silicon is a smart move. But you should also max out the storage and the memory, because they're not upgradable at all anymore.
Yeah, it's always a hassle with the memory and the RAM and everything.
Yeah, there's no more upgrades.
Thank you so much for the recommendation.
Patch, a real pleasure talking to you once again 23 years later.
Great question, Tim.
Thank you so much, Leo.
Stay in touch. We'll talk in a couple of decades. Take care. Bye-bye, Patch. That's really sweet. That's really nice. If you're not a member of Club Twit yet, I've mentioned it a couple of times. I want to have you join us in the club. It's a great place to be. There are people now in the club who just said, oh, no, is Twit going out of business? No, that is our fervent hope. What we're doing is we're entering the 21st century, frankly. When I designed Twit 20 years ago, I made it like a TV or a radio station, and we built studios, and it was wonderful. I mean, I really have enjoyed having these great studios. This is our third, and I love the team that we put together, and I love coming into work every day, and now every few days, and seeing Micah and John and Jemmer B and all, Burke and the crew. So it's sad for me to leave the studio, but honestly, nobody does it that way anymore. The future of podcasting is really work from home. Frankly, the future of work is work from home.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're just going to try that out. It also coincides with a drop in revenue from advertising. So what we're hoping is that we can sustain this operation by cutting back costs dramatically by working from home, and with your help with the club. $7 a month. You can pay more. By the way, if you think the value of Twit is $10 a month or $15 a month, if you get that much value, you absolutely can pay more. But we wanted to make the floor something that we thought was pretty affordable for everybody, because we want everybody to be in the club. You get ad-free versions of all the shows. We don't need to advertise to you. You're supporting us. You get video for shows like Hands on Macintosh, Micah's show, Hands on Windows with Paul Thurrott, the Untitled Linux show, Scott Wilkins, Some Theater Geeks. All of those, you get video. You're supporting what we've just started doing now. We are now restreaming to every possible platform. We have people watching us right now on X.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Kick, YouTube. That's part of what we're doing. We want to be more available to you. And that is still free. And it's going to be free as long as we can do that. But by joining the club, you're supporting it. You're supporting it for people who can't afford to pay the $7. You're supporting it for yourself. So we invite you to join it. It's very simple. Go to twit.tv/Club Twit. All the details, all the benefits are there. We have Micah's Crafting Corner once a month, Stacy's Book Club every other month. We have lots of events. My goal, what I see podcasting becoming, is less like a radio show or a TV show and more like a get-together, a community. And, Alex Lindsay is very inspiring with his office hours. I would like to see more of that. So one of the reasons I'm putting a studio up in my attic is so that I can go toddle upstairs, flip on a switch, and start streaming right away.
Yeah.
And
mine's going to be in my basement.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Oh, good. You'll be nice and cool, and I'll be really hot. But we'll still be able to do that. And I think it's great. Now, I'd love sitting next to Micah. But honestly, if this were two screens, and it would be very similar from our point of view.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and from your point of view, it would be identical. So I think that this is the way to pursue what we're doing. It's reinventing Twit for the 21st century is what we're doing, even though Twit was born in the 21st century. But I can't say the 22nd century. We're not there yet. So, all right, we continue on Ask the Tech Guys with whatever John Ashley thinks is best.
Well, you're holding that stack of emails.
They're here. You can, by the way, Call 888-724-2884 when we're on the air Sundays from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. But if you're not watching or listening at that time live, you can also call and leave a message like our last caller did. 888-724-2884 or email atg@twit.tv. That's what Jay did. Hi, Jay. Hi, Leo and Micah.
Yeah.
My mom is 89 and losing her vision to AMD. I'm sorry. She describes it as looking through a QR code. Ooh.
Wow.
Her passion is to read, but she just can't do it any longer. My dad is 91. We'll turn 91 in a couple of weeks. My mom's 91, and they both love to read. Reading is, I look forward to retirement and having time to read.
In that chair of yours.
It'll be in that nice, comfy chair. So Jay says, I have a specific need. I have a family member. Well, this is, we've switched gears here. On a 1.5 year European trip, traveling solo and documenting this, by sending an email out to the fam, but my mom can't read it.
Oh.
Here's my desire. I'd like to use an app or program to read the words, create an audio file that I can save and send to her. I live an 1.5 hours away so that she can play them on her iPad. I've tried apps on her iPad to read the screen, but she, it's hard for her. She can't seem to get the hang of it. Mm-hmm. So if I send her an audio file, an MP3 or a WAV, that I could help her with. I found apps that'll read the text, convert to audio, but nothing that will save it as an audio file. It's like something that's open source. Or he would like something that's open source. Thanks for any and all help for Mama. Love your show. You guys really do help us tech folks when we get stuck or have a need. Thank you, Jay. That's a really good one. There are lots of ways to do this. And what's really cool is AI is getting so good with the voices.
It could be a very nice voice as opposed to
it doesn't sound like a machine anymore.
Would ElevenLabs work for this?
I'm just wondering. So ElevenLabs has released something they call Reader, which is really awesome. It is an app, iPhone or iPad, and they've licensed, this is hysterical, we talked about this the other day, the famous voices of Sir Laurence Olivier, James Dean, Burt Reynolds, Judy Garland, but they also have very nice, pleasant, here's Ryan, a pleasant reader. Let me have to turn up my sound so you can.
Make it a tiny bit better.
You could actually choose a voice that sounds like.
Trust yourself, then you will know how to live.
That's Alice. Here's Sully.
Don't smother each other. No one can grow in the shade.
Ooh, I like that.
Isn't that a nice voice?
Nice, rich voice.
So this app will read texts and links and files. So now I don't know how this app may be too much for Mom, but you said if you sent her an audio file that she'd be able to play it somehow.
If he has the app on his phone, can he export an audio file from the app?
Let's see. Let me see if we can save it as a file. Yes. Coming soon.
So very soon.
Save and share. So this is a free app right now. And this may be one of the reasons it's coming soon is they want to, have a paid version of that. But I have to say the voices on this, ElevenLabs does really the best stuff with this. So I would take a look at this app. It's called Reader. It's from ElevenLabs. Down the road, you'll be able to give it an email and have it record it and then save it and send it to Mom. And if you could figure out some way to get Mom to play it, there are lots of voice synthesizers out there. There must be other
I wonder if
ways to do
VoiceStream Reader would be able to. The problem is VoiceStream Reader was just acquired by some company, if I remember correctly. So, but that might. Let's see if I still have it. No, I've removed it because it got bad. But
I mean,
used to be the one.
You could just do it, right? You could. I think you're going to be reading the email anyway, so you could open voice memos, record it, and then send it to Mom. My 91-year-old mom, she's getting on, and so it's harder for her to figure out how to do stuff. But she still can use the iPhone, and I give her an iPad. So if I shared something to her text that was just an audio file that if she tapped it, it would play. I think she should be able to do that. I would hope your mom could too as well. So that might be one way to do it is to record it, share it via text or email. And Mom can just literally tap the text and it'll play it back. In fact, frankly, if you have an iPhone, you can record it in the iPhone's messages I don't know how long are the audio recordings.
The ones that are built in are very short, but if you go to voice memos and then share from there, they're much longer.
Yeah. I don't think there's a limit. I've recorded at least half an hour on a voice memo. Yeah. So I don't think there's much of a limit. There are lots of ways to do this.
I wonder if you don't need to do it from your phone, I wonder if ElevenLabs online would probably let you export a wave or some file.
ElevenLabs.ai. They also let you train your...
I think it's .io.
.io? Oh, you're right. They also let you train your own voice. So if you really wanted to get special, I think it's better not to do that. It's a little creepy and weird.
Yeah.
They do text to speech. Yeah, you could just do it in there.
So then just export. Yeah. So you paste the text in from there and then...
Upon a time, Micah Sargent. I'll spell it Sargent because it'll pronounce it right. Actually, that's not how you spell Sargent. Was on a show. And then I can use, you could choose those great voices. I'll do Alice, because we liked Alice. And I could play it. Let's see how that works. And I think...
Yeah, so I logged in and I was able to download, it is an MP3.
Yeah.
And then I could send that MP3.
Perfect.
So
that's, you don't even need the app to do that. You could just do that. That's cool. I don't know why I don't hear it. Is she talking? I don't hear it. Anyway. And then how much does it, so you logged in, so you have an account.
Yeah, and you get 10,000 quota for free.
10,000 characters for free. Well, unless your emailer is very prolific.
Very wordy.
I think that should be sufficient.
That might work for you.
But for $5 a month, you get up to 30 minutes of audio for free. You can clone your voice. You can control it, and they have I think their voices are really.
Their voices are good, yeah.
ElevenLabs.io. Great question. Really an interesting idea, isn't it? All right, J.A.
Oh, hello.
Hello, J.A.
Hello. How about this phone caller right here who needs to hit *6 to unmute themselves?
Hello, phone caller.
Hello, phone caller. *6.
Okay, you mean just unmute?
Yay! Yeah, what's your first name and where are you calling from? How about that?
How about that? My name's Charles. I'm calling from San Francisco. Been listening to Leo forever, it seems, at least the last 20 years.
Wow.
And I enjoy the latest incarnation of the show with Micah.
Isn't it great?
As the tech guy.
Have we talked before, Charles? You sound familiar.
We have. It's been a while, but damn, you've got a good memory for a guy my age, Leo.
I remember you, sir. So, isn't Micah a great addition to the show? I'm very pleased.
He really is, and I'm glad to see it moving, another voice, another generation.
That's the
as
point.
You may or may not recall, Leo, like I said, I listened for a long time, and I do a lot of. I used to be an assistive tech trainer, and I'm a low vision guy, and I appreciate all you're doing with this last caller who needs his mom to be able to read her email. But there's a much simpler solution, which is simply VoiceOver. She can invoke VoiceOver and ask VoiceOver to read her email, and VoiceOver will do a perfectly adequate job of doing that.
Is that Mac only, or is that PC?
No, she can do it through Siri.
Siri?
No, she can do it through Siri.
Okay. So,
however she wants to access Siri, she can ask Siri to read my email. Siri will read the headings of the emails, and when she's ready to hear a particular email, she can tap on it, and Siri will read her email.
Now, is there do you suggest a site or another place to go to learn how to go about that? Because I know that for the caller's mom, the problem was trying to figure out what all you need to do to get these screen readers to work. So if there was a simple method that she could be taught, that might make it a little simpler.
Well, she can hold down her button on her it's a iPad, she can hold down the right button and speak to Siri.
And just say, read what's on screen?
Read my email. With the command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here are your
and
most
Apple
unread emails. You can always ask me to read it
there
or
you
say
go.
next.
I remember
read it
when they took that out.
If you
it
ask
was
it
a
to
very
read it
big
after
upset.
that, then
yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
So it gives
very
you this.
straightforward.
Yeah, that's neat. That's where it really is helpful. Somebody with macular degeneration, your vision gets narrower and narrower, and it's harder and harder to read. And it's really helpful to have an assistive aid, somebody who can come over and train you, teach you, and help you. Charles,
it is.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it is, and there are a number of, Apple has a number of resources to do this, and certainly the new innovations in iOS are going to help people be guided through this, but there are any number of resources online. And another resource that, since Mom may not be too fluent online, and might be assistive, would be YouTube. YouTube has excellent assistive free technology resources that are put out there from Apple and from other places like Hadley School. That the iPhone is the whole iOS system is just an extraordinary accessibility tool. It is the greatest accessibility tool of really all times in terms of giving people capabilities. And you don't have to learn coding or anything difficult.
You just talk to Siri.
And
HadleyHelps.org.
HadleyHelps.org. That's the Hadley School.
There's so many solutions.
There are workshops and everything.
That's really it's so encouraging.
I know. Let me put it this way. Every productive blind person I know, their key common accessibility device, other than a cane and possibly a dog, is going to be their iPhone.
Yeah. With things like Be My Eyes.
Consume and produce.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, things like Be My Eyes, that's a wonderful app.
They're great.
Yeah. So, do you think AI is helping this?
Together.
Do you think AI is helping this, Charles? Will it become ultimately even more useful?
Oh, AI is helping this in so many ways, not just in terms of tools like the Be My Eyes that you're talking about, and tools like Seeing AI that literally is a free tool from Microsoft that gives me the ability to simply put my camera in front of a document and have that document read to me aloud with no third-party costly tools.
Yeah.
Now, that capability has been around for a long time, but 5 years ago, I'd have paid $5,000 for a tool that gives me that capability in the stationary. Now, guess what? I have it in my pocket.
Yeah. Jaws, something like Jaws was so expensive and so complicated, and it's gotten so much better.
Yeah, and Jaws is still, this is a complex topic, which I wasn't expecting to get into with, but Jaws is a specialized tool and has a lot of tools that Siri can't provide in terms of being able to give people the ability to manipulate, to edit, to control their content.
Right.
And we still need those tools, and those tools, there's a cost for those tools to be developed to a very small niche audience. But at the same time, not everybody can afford those. So we need the general tools as well. But it's more complicated, and people don't produce tools like Jaws to make money and to get rich, Leo. There's a cost to producing those tools.
Yes.
So we need both tools. It's a complicated subject, and I appreciate sometimes how you advocate for the consumer about cost, but the subject is more complicated than just cost, Leo.
No,
maybe
I
we can get into
understand.
that another time.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. Yeah.
But in terms of an educational assist for blind and low vision students, AI is great in terms of helping them access information and also helping them go through and have the patience to go through math practices and other things that a teacher with 30 students might not be able to have the dedicated time to focus on a non-visual learner or other specialized neurodivergent learning student. So AI, to answer your original question, I think is a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah. Charles, it's always a pleasure. I'm glad to know that you're still with us. Thank you so much. And I don't mean like not dead.
Yeah.
I mean like
you're still
you
listening.
Followed from the radio show
I'm
to
glad to know that too, Lee.
That came out wrong. I'm so glad you're still with us.
I know what you mean,
I
my
meant
man.
you're with us on the show.
Yeah.
Nice to know you still listen. How about
I
that?
share your happiness of that. Thank you, Leo.
Thanks, Charles.
Glad to hear you're still doing it, my friend.
Yeah,
Have a good one.
I'm glad I'm still with us too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Okay. Do we have another guest today, or
No.
Sam was our guy, but we do have another half hour, which means we have more chances to take your calls at 888-724-2884 or call.twit.tv if you want to use Zoom and get on the call. John Ashley is coordinating. He's our producer, technical director, board op, sound man, and boy genius.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was just waiting.
No, much esteemed boy genius. What can we do for you?
You know, I think after that, we need to take a quick little breather and collect our thoughts.
Oh,
think about what we did.
I hurt his feelings.
No, you didn't.
I'm going to go stand in the corner.
No.
You're watching
Nobody puts baby.
You're
Boy
watching
genius.
Ask the Tech Guys. Micah Sargent on your left, Leo Laporte on the right.
Show title right there, by the way.
Yes. Nobody puts baby in the corner. I the other day, my wife mocked me because I said something like, nobody puts honey in the corner. And she said, what are you talking about? Anyway, it's from the movie Dirty Dancing, isn't it? Yes. Jennifer Grey. Yes.
Yes. Famously also known as Honey.
Honey baby. Honey boo boo. Anyway, let's take a call.
I'm going to ask our phone caller to unmute themselves.
Oh,
Star
another
6.
caller. Star 6 to unmute yourself. Then give us your name and where you're calling from. I really have trouble saying where you're calling from.
Where are you calling from?
Where are you calling is what
Just
I would
say
say.
it
But
like, where are you calling from? Where are you calling from?
Clear Lake.
Clear Lake. Hey, what's your first name?
It's Ken.
Hi, Ken. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How are you?
We're great.
Peachy keen.
Is it really hot in Clear Lake today? You've been having a hot week, I know.
Yeah. Well, it's humid, too.
Yeah,
It's hot and humid.
Yeah.
So it's not a dry heat. Dang it.
It's vacillated back and forth, but we spent plenty of time in the water the last couple of days. So
Good. Yeah, Clear Lake's beautiful. Yeah. What can we do for you?
Yeah. I got a question about backing up my Macintosh and my phones and stuff. I've subscribed to iDrive for years, and I'm getting all kinds of file errors because I'm also using iCloud Drive. So I called iDrive, and they said what I have to do in order to make iDrive work is to keep local copies on my Mac, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of the iCloud.
What's the point?
and using that for my photos and all the excess data that won't fit on my Mac.
Yeah. This is one of the most annoying things that has happened in modern Mac OS. So to explain for folks who are tuning in, essentially, when you are doing an online backup, the online backup system is looking at the files that are stored locally on your device, and they are making the copies and putting them online somewhere very far away in a server. However, if you use iCloud as a way to keep it's by default your desktop and your documents in line across all of your devices, so that it parallels across all of your devices, but also to make it so that there's more storage space locally on your device. What happens is the system will automatically look at how you are using your files, look at the files that you haven't used in a while, look at the size of those files, and then make educated guesses on what files can be pulled from your system, basically deleted from your system, and their copy online left as the copy that exists. That's what's happening with iCloud. Now, when something like iDrive comes along to try to back up your system, it's only seeing a shell of a file there. It is not seeing the actual file because iCloud has pulled the file off of your local drive and is just showing you kind of an alias of that file there locally. But iDrive cannot go to Apple's server in the cloud and grab that full file. It only is able to access what is actually stored on your machine. So what all of these third-party backup programs are telling you to do is make it so that all those files are stored locally when the backup takes place. But if you have iCloud backup turned on, then what's going to happen is as you're downloading files from iCloud back to your desktop or your downloads or your documents folder, then the system is going to continue to intelligently remove files and store them in the cloud. So it's this stupid game of cat and mouse as you're trying to download all of the files locally so that your third-party backup system can back up those files as iCloud Drive continues to work in the background, removing files from your computer. It's not compatible. And unfortunately, the only solution that I have found is either having enough storage space on my machine that iCloud does not automatically remove files, or just turning off that feature in the first place. And I hate that. I should be able to have that feature going. And here's the thing that's even worse about it. Apple used to have a different system in place for applications and services that had access to your file system and was able to access your file system and present files to you. An example of this is Dropbox. Dropbox has what's called a Finder integration that gives you the ability to see files and choose what files are stored locally, what files are stored in Dropbox. The system used to be one way. Apple updated the system so that all of those file providers had to kind of play in a sandbox, essentially. And in doing so, it made it so that all of those file providers also have this issue. So if I don't go into my remote backup solution and explicitly exclude Dropbox, the file that I have, or the folder rather that I have locally from my online backups, then I also run into errors because Dropbox is also pulling files from local and storing them in the cloud. Didn't used to be an issue. So it's just an error. It's a compatibility issue where these online automated systems can't play ball with something that's not, talking. And I wish that Apple would set up an API so that the two could communicate, because what would be simple is this online backup system tells iCloud Drive, hey, pull this file momentarily so I can back it up, and then you can release it back into the cloud again. That's not how it is, though. So I'm with you.
Go ahead.
As convoluted as that sounds, it makes sense to me. But what my ultimate question is, for years when I had a small business, I really subscribed to the 3-2-1 backup philosophy and made sure that all my business data was conformed to that. So now that I'm retired and only have my personal data and so on, am I safe just using iCloud backup for my files?
Okay. Honestly, I think that if you have a time machine, if you have a local time machine backup, because Time Machine does play ball.
do that as well.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
If you have that, then I think that for your personal files, using iCloud Drive as a backup solution and Time Machine as a backup solution, because again, Time Machine does play ball with iCloud Drive. It does temporarily bring the file down and then release it afterward. Then I think you're okay. What I have done I've kind of prioritized on this MacBook Air. I don't worry about it. I just have iCloud Drive not as one of the backup options. On my Studio, the Mac Studio, which is the main machine that I use, because I have enough storage space, I do go in and download everything from the cloud from time to time to make sure that my backup system is able to. So you can perhaps prioritize that way, or you can just be comfortable knowing that you've got a Time Machine backup and that you are backing up to iCloud Drive. There used to be a time where I would not have recommended that iCloud Drive was an okay option for backup. That time has since passed. I think that it is a fine option for, Apple's worked out a lot of those kinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like my redundancy is iDrive, and that's not necessary. Doing iCloud and Time Machine.
No, you really don't need iDrive.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice to have.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. That has
our pleasure, Scott. Thank you. It's good to have. I mean, your 3-2-1 backup is exactly right. 3 copies, original plus 2 backups, 2 different forms of backup, and 1 in the cloud. But iCloud is your cloud, and I think with the Time Machine iCloud combination is pretty darn good. Yeah. Because you can always, with the Time Machine, you're welcome, Scott. Time Machine, as we mentioned before, gives you the instant return of a single file or just, a version fix.
Perfect.
Kind of thing. Have a good one.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Great call or great
question. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. You think that bug, it's a bug, you're saying?
Well, no, it's not a bug.
It's intentional.
I mean, it is kind of a bug. I don't know what you call something that is intentional but should be fixed.
It's an error.
Yeah.
A thought mistake.
There's a thorn or something.
Yeah.
They need to introduce an API there, because that's the thing, is that Time Machine knows what to do. So third parties should be given the ability to do the same. And the fact that they're not is a problem.
Yeah. And as Greg M says in our YouTube chat, with any backup system, test your backups, because you can't assume.
Right, never assume.
Always, occasionally download a file or that kind of thing. Yeah. In fact, one of the reasons I have many backup systems is because I don't want to test them, so I just figure one of them will work. I have had backups fail, and that's really devastating. You think I'm safe, and then you're not.
Yes, a misfeature, an undesirable feature. Those are all great names for them. Yeah,
exactly. Let's see. What else?
How about another phone caller?
Oh, I love it. Let's go. 888-724-2884. Once you get in, hang on, and when we call on you, you just press *6 to unmute.
Hello, Leo.
Hey, welcome. What's your first name and where are you calling from?
My first name is Mel. I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
Hi, Mel. Welcome.
I was calling. I'm in a dilemma.
Uh-oh.
It's time to get a new PC. And there's lots of the AI stuff with the new Intel stuff kind of has me intrigued.
Yeah.
But I had gotten one of the, it's a Lenovo thing. It's a little gamepad thing. It's Legion thing.
Yeah,
it's like a gamepad and PC all in one. And like my thought was I'll use this for like a PC kind of. It's slightly wonky, but it actually works better than I thought. But
this is like a Steam Deck. It's kind of a handheld.
It's like it's just like a Steam Deck, and it actually works pretty good. And I travel all the time for work, so I have a work laptop, but I'd like to have something for fun, and this was all fun.
So, do you use it as a regular computer as well as a gaming device?
Yeah, I'll take it. I can pair it to a iPad for a screen. I can use an iPad for a second screen with it. And it's got an 8-inch screen, so with an 11-inch iPad, it actually works pretty good with the Bluetooth keyboard. Yeah, that's
and you have a keyboard, a Bluetooth keyboard, and a mouse, so you can. Now you've got a whole system. Yeah.
The only thing is it's not a laptop, so there's times when it'd be nice just to have something to open and just work on. And I'm really conflicted right now because I have an iPad that's older. It's not one of the M series. But I want something that I can just open up and have a keyboard ready and type on if I just need to do some email real quick or something like that. And I'm conflicted between getting, like I saw the old Airs are pretty inexpensive now, or do I make the jump to an iPad with a keyboard case, one of the newer iPads, or maybe just find some kind of lightweight Windows computer. And like the new Surfaces look really cool. And I used to have a Surface and I love it. But
they're not cheap.
There's too many. There's
lots of options.
There's too many choices.
The paralysis of choice.
Too many choices.
On the one hand, I think it's a good idea if you're going to get any Apple device to make sure you get an Apple Silicon-based device. As we mentioned before, Intel's gone, and while you can still buy them, I wouldn't. On the other hand, on Windows, it's a little early to go all in on the Snapdragon X Elite. It's like, while that is a great processor, in many ways the equivalent of Apple's Silicon, support is not quite there yet. Microsoft has a very good compatibility layer. They have there's rapidly improving support, but things like Fortnite won't work on it because their anti-cheats won't work on the Snapdragon. They have to update their software. So software support will eventually, I think, be there for the Snapdragon, but you're early on that. So it's hard because on the one hand, like Lenovo, for instance, sells a Copilot Plus PC with 32 gigs of RAM and a terabyte drive. I mean, this is a nice laptop, an OLED screen for $1,300. I think that's a very good price. So if you're going to go Windows, the question is it time to get a Snapdragon? I would not get an Intel at this point on Windows. I think it might be worth waiting till the next Intel processor comes out later this year. Is it Lunar Lake? I can't remember. I've forgotten the designation.
Okay. No, I understand.
Yeah, because I think that Intel at least will have better software support. On the other hand, I think in the long run, Snapdragon might be the future of Windows. Macintosh is much more settled. The Apple Silicon's been out for a few years. Everybody supports it. It all works. There's nothing that doesn't work. In fact, I was really surprised. My favorite game, Valheim, which has only been Windows and Linux for years, is available on Mac. Apple Silicon runs great on Apple Silicon. So we're seeing more and more.
That's what made me get the Legion.
Yeah.
I got the Legion because I wanted something fun to play games.
Yeah,
And I'm not a big gamer. I just was like, I needed something to be flexible.
Nice.
We're of similar age, and it's like I don't have to go out and walk when I play a game, so I can stay and do that in one place. But it was, and the
what do you want to
like
do with it?
Incredibly priced for what it was.
It is $700. It's a Ryzen processor, 16 gigs of RAM. It's a real PC. You know, I mean, it really is. If you attach a keyboard and a screen, I think you got a real computer there. What do you want to do with this laptop?
Nothing I've tried to do and I can't do.
What do you want to do with this laptop? I guess is the question.
Just browsing and email and a little Word.
Get the Air. Get the cheap Air. It's an M1. Get that. You'll love it. The difference between the M1 and the M2 is this much.
Right. It's very little.
And if the price is right on an Apple M1 MacBook Air, that's exactly what you're looking for.
Because it's almost cheaper than an iPad at this point.
It is. Yeah. Once you add all the stuff to the iPad, you're talking laptop prices. And honestly, as good as iPad OS is, I mean, it's a good touch OS. It isn't a desktop OS. It really isn't. And so there really isn't the software there. And this has always been the complaint about everybody who has an iPad is this is amazing hardware. Where's the software? And I think it's just a limitation of the operating system and the audience and so forth. Get a MacBook M1 MacBook Air. What are they? What is it like? Talking $899? How much are they?
Good question. I'm not sure about that.
I was looking at the M1s and some of those are below $600.
Wow. Yeah, get that. Yeah. You would not notice the difference between that and an M2 or even an M3. You will not notice the difference. Is that on the is Apple's refurb store? Or is that? I bet it is. Apple has it.
I've seen them. I've seen them at Best Buy. Maybe Apple, Walmart's had them for that. Every once in a while, you see some screaming deal on them.
I would before you buy it from somebody else. I would go to the Apple official Apple refurb store. It's apple.com/shop/refurbished.
I always recommend buying from Apple before choosing a third party, just because they like to upsell you and try to add in other things, but also I just have found that the service from Apple is better if you just get it directly from Apple.
Yeah. Refurbed MacBook Air with an M1. It is more expensive, $759, but it is from Apple. And as a result,
we'll have that guarantee too.
The real Apple warranty. I think Best Buy is not awful.
Okay.
But I like getting it from Apple. I just think that's a better idea. But that price that's less than an iPad with the keyboard.
True.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah. I appreciate everything you guys have done. I've made it out to the studio there.
Nice.
I think I've been out there 3 times now over the past few years.
Wonderful.
Years ago. I gave you I do safety for like construction workers. and I gave you a harness. I worked for the company that made harnesses for fall protection. And I gave you the harness that we made because it was featured in, what's the TV show in space? The one where they're exploring. They've got, I forgot now. It was on Amazon.
Oh.
No.
Oh, The Expanse. You're talking about The Expanse.
The Expanse. Yeah. It was in The Expanse. Yeah, it was. They used some of our gear in The Expanse.
Cool. And could I attach it to something and jump out a window and stuff like that?
He guarantees it.
If I gave you the rest of the stuff, you could. Now I teach people that climb. Now I teach people that climb with that gear.
Oh, neat.
So I contract with a government agency to do that training. Neat. So it's yeah.
Well, it's very kind of you. Thank you. But, and it's really good to talk to you.
But no,
I don't know if we're going to have studio tours of the attic. I don't think it's big enough to have studio tours.
I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening.
I don't think my wife will let me.
I don't think. Just put a 360 camera up and occasionally.
Oh, I'll definitely do that. In fact, we already agreed. I'm going to put the Insta360 up so you can see the scope of the attic.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Hey, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Leo.
Alrighty.
I appreciate everything.
Have a good
Take
one.
Care.
My pleasure. Thank you. That is the one thing I miss. We used to have live audiences in here pre-COVID, and it was so much fun. Yeah. I really miss that. I know I will miss that.
Now you go into the attic, and it's just filled with mannequins.
There's
really
enough
creepy.
room in the attic for. I got a couch up there. 4 or 5 people could. It'd be a little intimate, a little sweaty.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't.
No. You could just have your mannequins.
The thing that they're pitching that I do, and I don't know if I like this idea. The idea is that I sit at this table, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that the cameras and the monitors, everything are attached to the back panel there.
Okay.
So you wouldn't even have a good view of me.
Are you turning like this?
No, I'm facing into it. The camera's right there in the middle.
And
right
you were
here.
that close to it?
Well, that's the trick, that you got to get it a little farther away. But a wider table could do it. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm confused. But
no, I'm confused too.
Okay.
But the advantage is if I raise the table, everything, the lights, the cameras, everything.
Got it. I guess that's kind of how my setup is, because all my lights
all attached
are on the desk. Yeah, my camera's on the desk.
For years, I did it that way. I had that big desk, and we had Colleen drilled holes in it and put cameras in.
Yeah, and I've got 3 monitors.
That was a long time ago. What a world we live in. The world is always ever changing. Change is hard. I used to embrace change. Mm-hmm. And I think in this job, that's really important because we're always new stuff. But now I'm getting a little weepy and teary and saying, I wish things didn't have to change. But they do. That's the way it is. John Ashley.
Hi.
Never change.
Well,
don't ever change.
Change is inevitable.
It's inevitable?
My cells are constantly changing.
They are.
And exchanging.
It's a whole new person every few years.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
They also used to say you only use 10% of your brain, but it's all hogwash.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's saying, it's all attached to the desk. It could be fun if there's an earthquake. It's true. In fact, I specifically said, if there's an earthquake, I want everything to shake extremely so I could put the video out. Be great for social media.
Oh, do you remember that joke that I told about the chiropractor?
Sure.
It was about a week back.
No, I don't remember that.
It was about a week back.
I'm done. I'm out. Bye.
I promised my mom, who sent me that joke, that I would bring it up on some show. So there you go, Mom. I just remembered.
You're too young to be making dad jokes. Knock it off.
It was about a week. Oh,
it was about a week
John
back.
Ashley's out of here.
John Ashley left the studio. You chased the producer out.
Dear.
Wow.
All right. What's next, John?
All right. How about we end the show with a video caller?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's
Hello,
see what we got
caller.
Here. What's your name, sir?
Headdress.
In front of his
Aaron
turkey.
From Ashfield, Massachusetts, the Apple Valley section of Ashfield, Massachusetts.
Oh, beautiful part of the country.
Hello, Aaron.
Do you have turkeys, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
Or is that a hat?
Wild turkeys.
Yeah.
That's a wild turkey.
Beautiful.
We have many, many wild turkeys, and my wife don't tell Fish and Game, But she started to feed them.
California Fish and Wildlife.
And then we got even more. And now
they tell each other, come over here.
Yeah, they do. And then they have families, and every year there's more little turkeys.
Oh, little babies.
They're very sweet.
Oh, little babies.
Yeah, she loves wildlife, and she can't resist it. She wants to feed it every time. It's cute. It's sweet. Anyway, what can we do for you there, Aaron?
Well, first I've got a quick riddle for you.
Is it about a week back? Go ahead.
Around 1995, I think it was, I installed OS2 on a computer.
Oh, yes.
And I paid either $50 or $60 to buy a web browser.
My God.
And ever since then, and to this day, that is my primary web browser. So can you guess what it is?
You bought it in 1995. You paid $50. It couldn't be Netscape Navigator. You're not still using that, are you?
No.
$50 you paid in 1995. Golly,
might have been 96.
I mean, Netscape was the paid browser at the time. In fact, I remember when Microsoft came out with Internet Explorer 3, I said, it's all over for Netscape. Who's going to pay for a browser if Microsoft's giving it away? Let me think. I don't know. You have to tell me. I don't know.
Opera.
Still use it, and it's still good, although it's gone through a few new owners since then. I think it's a Chinese company.
How much does it cost these
used to be
days?
Norwegian.
Yeah, it still is, but it's owned by a Chinese company.
Yeah. It's free now.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's been free for a while.
Yeah. But it's hard to remember. But back in the day, we paid for browsers. We bought them. Yeah.
And then, you like what you get used to. And
Opera's a very good browser.
I mean, I've got Firefox and Chrome, And,
Opera's based now on Chromium. So it is basically a Chrome browser but with a lot of nice features added onto it. I think it's quite good.
I really like the speed dial feature, and I haven't found any plugin or app for any other browser that works as well as theirs does.
What does the speed dial do?
It's just a shortcut. I mean, that's in a they give you an icon on your desktop, but they're nestable, so you can have all of your
like automation
shortcuts
kind of
for travel. In one
that's a good
speed
idea.
dial, or weather in another one, and that kind of thing. And I like the way it works.
It's funny. It's an eternal issue, which is, how do you organize your tabs or your bookmarks?
Yeah.
It's always been the hardest thing to do in a browser. Now Opera has we talked about this on Windows Weekly on Wednesday. That's how I know about it.
Yeah.
They have a version of Opera for gaming.
Yeah, because Paul is the browser explorer.
Oh, yeah. He's always using new browsers. But the idea is nowadays with gaming streaming through your browser, a browser tuned for that particular use. Anyway, Aaron, what besides the riddle, do you have a question?
Yeah, my question is, what is so hard about supporting a time-based Google Authenticator compatible two-factor system that banks and credit cards won't do it?
Oh, that's a good question. Why is it that my bank still sends me a text message?
I almost certainly because they've run the calculation of how much it's going to cost them to pay for support calls for people getting it set up.
Yeah.
So
they couldn't even make it.
You're a geek, Aaron. You understand it. It's easy. You get it. You're a geek. Everybody watching the show probably is. The problem is that banks are catering to a much wider audience, and there are a lot of people who would go, I have to have an app on my phone to get into my bank account?
Even as
How
an
does that
opt-in,
work?
there are going to be so many people who end up opting in, then they don't realize what they're doing, why it works.
Yeah.
There'll be people calling going, how is this different from getting a text? How do I set it up? It's just, they don't want to pay for that.
And you know, Aaron, and we know that the reason you say this is a bad idea is because text messaging is not as secure as a one-time password from a time-based authenticator program. That's a much more secure way to do it.
my bank still uses secret questions.
Oh, that's terrible.
Love that.
But everybody who watches this show knows you don't actually answer the question.
No,
when they say what your favorite color is, you don't say purple.
No.
You make up something from your password manager.
Well, my secret questions are randomly generated passwords that are longer than their password.
That's what I do too. Yeah.
Limit.
Yeah, even their regular password. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. But the
it's frustrating.
The brokerage house that has my IRA a couple of months ago sent out emails and said, you're going to be required to set up two-factor authentication as of this date, few weeks in the future. And I said, great, then that date came and went and nothing happened. And then we got an email saying, oh, never mind.
It's definitely a support issue. They think that normal people can't figure it out and they don't want to answer the questions because it is far more secure. Now, admittedly, even a text message is more secure than not having any two-factor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're happy enough, I guess, with that situation. But I agree with you. We should all be using, Google Authenticator, or it's like Microsoft Authenticator. Actually, it's funny because for a long time I recommended Authy from a company called Twilio, and Twilio just got breached, and many Authy phone numbers were exfiltrated. I had already switched, though, to something open source and free called 2FAS, or I guess that's two-factor S. 2FAS. When the reason I like it is because it saves an encrypted blob with all my secrets to iCloud or Google Drive. So it makes it very easy to move around. I have my secrets, but it's a very good system. Anyway, I'm with you, Aaron, 100%. Is that your turkey or just a turkey?
That was a turkey that was displaying beside my driveway last spring as I was driving over to the farm.
You know what we have that it blows me away is peacocks.
I can't believe all the peacocks here. I was dropping off a package at FedEx the other day, and I'm like, how is there a peacock running around in front of me right now? That is wild.
I love the peacocks.
They're so cool.
They're annoying because they make loud, annoying noises, but
they
do you have peacocks in Ashfield?
Say that again?
Do you have peacocks in Ashfield?
I haven't seen any.
Yeah. I'll send you some because we have extras. I'll just put it in a box.
Put it in a box outside of FedEx.
Hey, a pleasure talking to you, Aaron. Thank you. And thanks for the riddle. Thanks for bringing back the memories. Back in the day when you could get somebody to give you money.
Remember when you had to pay for
browsers?
Yeah.
Wow. Have a good one.
Up the hill, both ways in the snow.
Okay, thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And that wraps it up for this week's Ask the Tech Guys. If you're watching live, stay tuned. This Week in Tech is coming up in just a few minutes as we have to reset the studio, something we won't have to do in the attic, something we can't do.
Good luck.
In the attic. If you, peacocks are very loud. They're talking about the peacocks.
In the chat. It's censoring the word.
You can't say peacock in chat, apparently. So I apologize for that. Yes, my friends, this show is every Sunday. We do it around 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. That would be roughly 1800 UTC. And you can watch us live. Not just on YouTube now, youtube.com/twitch/live, but on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on X, on Twitch, everywhere that there's live streaming. And we're thrilled about that. Thanks to the folks at Restream for making that possible. It makes it so that everybody can watch. And those chat rooms on those respective platforms are also open. And we have a unified chat. We haven't yet figured out a way to put that unified chat into this, but it gives us a chance to hear from everybody. So that's really nice. After the fact, you can watch the show on the website, twit.tv/ATG, or use the old techguylabs.com URL that redirects. There's a YouTube channel dedicated to Ask the Tech Guys, but the best thing to do is subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and that way you'll get it automatically the minute it's available. And of course, if you're in the club, if you're a Club Twit member, you have a special URL you can subscribe to. It's just for you and you alone. It has no ads in it. If you're not yet a member of the club, twit.tv/club Twit.
Join us.
Now, during the week, can people leave us questions?
They can. If you'd like to call us during the week at 888-724-2884, you will be able to leave a voicemail that, as you've heard, we'll play back on the show. So we'd love to have you call us and leave a voicemail. Also, email us, atg@twit.tv, with your text, your audio, your video. All great ways to get in touch with us.
Yeah, and thank you to John Ashley, our producer, Jammer B, John Slanina, our longtime studio manager, been with us almost all 20 years, and is really is a little bit the worse for wear, I'll be honest with you. So we're going to...
Oh,
no, I'm teasing. I'm older than him.
He has a beautiful hip.
He has a brand new titanium hip. Thanks to Burke McQuinn, who fixes things, and of course our executive producer and my dear wife Lisa Laporte. Thank you, all of you, for the good work you do, especially thanks to Micah Sargent. He'll be back with Tech News Weekly on Thursday, iOS Today every other week with Rosemary Orchard, and
Hands on Mac in the Club.
Guys. Hands on Mac in the Club, and I think we're going to get you on Twig pretty soon too.
That's right.
Yeah. So have a great Geek Week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.